Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sessions with Kat. We're back. It's Friday. We're living our best life and doing all the things that we need to for ourselves, right? So, where have I been? Well, not that I owe you guys an explanation, but last week was the 1 year kind of anniversary of David's death. So I took that time for myself. I did not take any clients. I didn't even post on social media. I needed the healing. I needed to feel the things, if that makes sense. And, figure out what I've learned over this past year throughout all of the changes that have taken place. So I did that for myself. Don't be afraid to take time for you, okay? You don't need to explain it to anybody. I'm just letting you guys know because I feel like letting you know. But don't be afraid to take whatever time you need to heal for you, okay? You deserve it. You fucking deserve to treat you, to whatever you need. And if that's time to cry, if that's time to nap, whatever, do it. Okay, I'm just gonna say it that way. Now, the updates before we do this walkthrough and chit chat. First update, and it's a pretty big one. I'm no longer at the zoo. I took a different position somewhere else. And honestly, it feels weird not being at the zoo because I like being around the animals, but the zoo wasn't giving what I needed it to give. So I had to move on. That being said, that changes my hours of how I do business. So I will have evening hours and Saturdays. Okay, I do not work on Sundays. Don't ask me to, because I won't even respond. So just kind of keep that in mind moving forward, starting on Monday, that my hours are changing. Also, please forgive me. I'm going to try to stay hydrated throughout this whole thing. My allergies have been kicking my butt. So if I start coughing, I promise I'm going to try not to do it on camera. So that it's all up in y'all ear, because that's just rude in my opinion. But you guys know I don't edit shit, and I'm not going to start because I'm a straight no chaser type of woman. So that's how I like to deliver my messages. So just please bear with me. So those are my updates. The podcast will be coming out today as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you're following my podcast, you'll get a notification when it uploads. So go do that, right? All those links are in the description box. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, because I probably won't remember to say that shit at the end of this video. And let's do this. So we're going to walk through the Flowers of the Night Oracle. I've had this for a while, so I don't know how much it costs now, okay? But it is published by Rockwool Publishing. I don't think I paid more than $20 for this. That's even with shipping, okay? But the price may have changed now. So if once I go through these cards and you're like, yep, I want it, make sure you check the price, because I don't know what it is. So that's that. Nice little easy open box and nothing in it, but that's that. And don't forget to let me know what your favorite card was, or let me know how you feel about today's little chit chat discussion. I'm always genuinely interested. I like discussing. I like conversations, mostly in person, but if I have to do it online and through comments, I will do that. But let me know what do you guys think, okay? What's your favorite card or whatever? And yeah, so I think that's the creator of this deck. I've never even looked at this book, y'all. Let me tell you that. Just before I get into this, like, that's why I'm like, I think that's the creator. Because my ass don't look at books. This is a great starter deck. I will say that based off of the cards, and you'll see that once I start showing them. This is a great starter deck, but let me tell you something. I have not. This is the first time I've actually opened this book. That's cool. It's meaty. It has information in it about the flower in question and the message that goes with it. So this is a good starter deck, I think. If you want to add it to your arsenal, it can be used not just for a starter deck or like a beginner deck, but it can also be used for advanced and even expert, because a lot of times I pair this with tarot. So the cards are not in order because, well, I had to use them one day and I forgot to put them back in order because I was like, oh yeah, these are gonna be in the next video. Yeah, and then guess who didn't put the shit in order? Me. Sorry. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. So today's little chit chat involves the sacral chakra, which ironically is the shit I dealt with last week because spirit. So because you guys know how my videos go, and we're gonna talk about, how can I say this, like, because it's loaded what they're saying, but they're saying break it apart. And so I'm assuming we're only gonna touch on the aspect of honoring your feelings and emotions and how to do that, like ways to achieve that, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So what is the sacral chakra? Well, most of you who watch my videos know what they are, but if you don't, here it is in a nutshell. Everybody has 7 main chakras. There are tons more, okay? There are tons more of them, but we're only going to discuss the 7 main ones. The week before, we discussed the earth and root because they're kind of like, they go kind of hand in hand with the way I do healing work. So I kind of discussed both. Today, we're doing the sacral. The sacral is the second, it's the orange one. So if you ever see like chakra colors, it starts at red and kind of goes up to purple or white, okay? We're looking at that second one, which is the orange one, which is the sacral. It's a water-based chakra. It's all your feelings and emotions and all those, fun little things that we hate going, when we go on a roller coaster ride, right? So it's located below the belly button, but above the anus, okay? It kind of includes all of your reproductive organs and some of your digestion area, okay? The rest of it is up in the solar plexus, but it's kind of roundabout in that area, okay? So what happens, right? If it's balanced, you're a pretty chill person, right? You don't sway, right? You don't sway too high, you don't sway too low. But if it's underactive, there's feelings of depression. It's all your low vibration bullshit, right? It's feelings of depression, maybe, the S word. There's just crying, like because you're so low, right? And you could have like reproductive issues, right? So like, let me rephrase that, menstrual issues, okay? So it might cause you to have a heavier cycle, or any other symptoms related to your cycle because it's either underactive or overactive. And truthfully, it doesn't matter which way it is. Like if it's overactive or underactive, it's gonna cause the same amount of chaos. Truth be told, okay? So you can have overwhelming feelings of anxiety, just overwhelming like emotions, period. Okay. You might be feeling, this is where you would feel like an imposter. Okay. Those feelings of imposter syndrome can sit right in the sacral area. This is also the area where you're most likely to push all of your trauma. Sorry to say, but that's most likely the case. You're going to push all of your trauma to that area, okay? I realize I have not started flipping through these cards. I'm sorry. I was just chit-chatting away, and I'm like, damn, I'm supposed to be doing something. So it's the area where you push all of your trauma, and you push, like, especially if you're going about your day and you're trying to be strong, right? So you'll push everything down, right? And you sometimes don't come back to it, right? And it just builds up. It just builds up. They kind of call the sacral kind of like your Pandora's box, because you just push everything into it, right? Doesn't need to be there, but you do it. You know what I mean? So there's that. Now, how do we honor our feelings and emotion? How do we honor ourselves in that way? We have to start unpacking what we put there, so we're no longer holding on to it, so that we're no longer feeling full of just flat out bullshit, right? And how can we do that? Well, number one, everybody knows you can journal, you can do like, eat orange foods or whatever and whatnot, like, follow the color. I think sometimes it takes something a bit deeper to unpack what you're feeling, to unpack, to even understand it to the point where you can overstand it, right? I think it takes something much deeper than journaling. Sometimes it also takes something much deeper than just eating orange foods or using orange or brown or white, black crystals. It takes something deeper, because most of the time you're not only addressing what's inside, you're addressing how it's been displaying itself outside too. So you have to fix two sides of it. So sometimes it's much deeper than just the stuff that you can do on your own. One thing I do recommend, right, if you need it, hypnosis, right? Because you've obviously made a habit of packing shit there, right? And you want to unlearn that habit. You want to be able to move forward and whatnot. So you could try hypnosis. I do believe that energy work works best for that. And here's why. You're more likely to leave something there because you don't want to feel it. Energy work says you can feel this thing, but we're also going to release it in a healthy way. You're more likely to sit and hold on to the bullshit because you've claimed it. You decided to own it, right? And energy work says, no, we're no longer owning that shit, so let's do this. So I always recommend that if you're going to work on your sacral, you need an unbiased person to do that. Or an unbiased mindset. A lot of times we can't get out of that mindset for ourselves. We can do it for other people, but not necessarily ourselves. So I highly recommend hypnosis, energy work, exploring Akashic records to see why you may be holding on to so much of that and what it's doing to your system. You can use plants and herbs, like plants, flowers, stuff like that. Milk thistle, chicory root, however you pronounce it. I'm pronouncing it both ways because I've heard it both ways. Ladies mantle, any oil or herb that kind of speaks to that area of you, because a lot of it is intuitive based, because a woman's intuition is partly in her sacral, right? That's when we say, oh, we feel it in our gut. That's where that's coming from, if that makes sense. So those are ways to kind of honor the feelings and emotions from a working point of view. Excuse me. But another way to honor is to just simply just kind of come home to yourself, right? Make the space for yourself. By that, I mean cry, right? Hold a self-commitment ceremony for yourself, right? For you. I highly recommend that. That was one of the things I did last week for myself. You can make sure you're eating the right foods, drinking, staying hydrated. I mean, not like drinking alcohol, but staying hydrated. Speaking up when you feel something. So, like, don't go hiding your emotions. Don't go try to run and hide behind that little pride of yours. You need to move that little bit out the way and actually speak up when you're feeling something. If you don't speak up, how will anyone know, right? And you're speaking on those feelings. You're speaking on those emotions, which means you're giving it a voice, which means your throat chakra also receives the healing too. Right? So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone, but that is a way to honor your feelings and emotions, to honor your sacral chakra. I highly recommend voicing whatever the fuck you need to voice, especially if your feelings are involved. And don't let somebody be like, oh, your little feelings are hurt. You're damn right. That's why I'm speaking up, right? Not that they can go and fix what's been said or what's been done. No, you just need to give your feelings and your emotions a voice. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Now, if you're new to something like that, it might take you a little time. That's okay. All right? That is totally fine. You move at the pace that you need to move at. Okay? I also recommend a sauna, which I'm trying to find one down here. I haven't found a good one that I feel called to yet, but I recommend the sauna. Okay, here's why. It gives you time to cry, to clear out all the toxic emotions or whatever, whatnot, however you want to call it. It gives you time to just expel it out your body. It kind of gives you like a fresh start almost, and I love that. So you can use something like that, right? Wearing the color orange or treating yourself to something that, creating a sacred space for yourself, really. I also use yoni eggs, and I have almost one in each color for the chakras, so that I know which one I need for which chakra. You don't have to go out and buy one for each chakra, but if you have a set of crystals that are for each chakra, use whichever one you have for your sacral. Okay? And I lay flat and I place it on top of my sacral chakra. You can do it that way. Or you can sit Indian style and then place it between, like in the middle, in the middle of your legs. Girl, what are the words? You can place it in the middle of your legs. And just kind of allow that energy to flow up through that way. Okay? Those are ways you can honor yourself. Now, what do I do in a healing session? Depends on the person, right? It really depends on the person and what they need. So, for most, and I would say this is probably like 55% of my clients, they just need a simple rebalance. right? So I make sure that the earth star and the root are in good order before I move on to the sacral. And once I get to the sacral, I make sure it's spinning correctly, that it's the right shade of orange for that person, for what they need. Also make sure to take note of any rips, tears, and so on and so forth that may be affecting that chakra. Once I work with their team and my team to kind of get everything all situated, I then ask, the client's guides, what does this person need to keep this chakra running properly? And usually they'll tell me, oh, make sure they're getting hydrated. Make sure they eat more than one meal, right? And it's not just fucking coffee, because some people do that, truthfully. Sometimes it's tell them to light a candle and to do some breath work, right? Other times, some people need self-commitment ceremonies. And we talk about that, right? It just depends on whatever your guide tells you need, right? Now, if you can hear your guides or you can receive messages from your guides, by all means, sit with them. Let them tell you what they know for you. Does that make sense? Like, let them just tell you. You want to be told, hey, you need this. Hey, try this. Hey, this. They know sometimes better than you what the hell you need. So kind of pay attention to that, If you are not one who can receive messages from your guides, then go get a reading, right? And ask them to focus on your chakra or your feelings and your emotions, right? If you want to read yourself, use the cups in tarot or use any oracle deck, okay? And you can use just the cups to read yourself on an emotional level, right? Let's see. Usually, I do a check-in on my sacral twice a month, once on the new moon and once on the full moon. That is how I typically go about that, right? I recommend that if you do have long-standing issues with this particular chakra, you check in at least twice a month to make sure that you're on track, right? And what that does is that allows you to kind of keep yourself in order, in some type of balance, right? Now, I'm not going to do a regular shuffle on these. I'm just going to do whatever spirit asks me to do, and they're telling me to stop, so I'm going to flip it. Acceptance. That is definitely an evening primrose type of energy. So, with all of that being said, your sacral, particularly for a woman, is your most powerful chakra. Most people say your solar plexus is, which it is, okay? But your sacral and your third eye work hand in hand for a woman because we use our whole intuition, whereas men typically use the third eye one, okay? But we use our whole intuition. Not to say that they're half-stepping it or anything like that. It's just the way that the different species are built, right? So you need both in order, but you gotta really make sure that emotional side of yourself is, understood to the point where you can understand it so that you can, actually trust your gut. You can trust when that gut feeling hits you that it's telling you the truth, if that makes sense. I hope it made sense. I hope all of this made sense. That being said, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. No, thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you who view and like my videos and my podcast and my Instagram posts. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you for being who you are and existing in the light that you do. I pray you have a good weekend, that you stay hydrated, you are eating well and feeling well throughout the entire weekend and days on after that. And I wish you all the brightest of blessings. Bye.